Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day. Today, we're going to be talking about reaching out to reviewers. Before I sort of share the screen of the blog post, I wanted to mention that you can get these tips if you sign up for the Lean Publishing Daily newsletter, which you can do on our blog if you go to leanpub.com/blog and sort of look for one of these Lean Publishing Tip of the Day articles. The link for signing up for the newsletter will be right at the top. And if you go to our homepage, there will be a link in a little banner at the top that you'll be able to find as well. And also, if you like these tips and things like that, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media wherever you can. So today's Lean Publishing tip of the day is, like so many things on LeanPub, a little bit more complicated than it is on other self-publishing platforms. Some of the rules are kind of tips are the same, and some of them are different because of our platform's unique nature. So the first thing to do when you think about a book review, I'm sure most people think about, the kind of Sunday edition of the paper with a big book section. Now, those don't really exist so much anymore, kind of infamously in the self-publishing and book publishing world. The big newspapers actually have been kind of moving away from book sections. I could opine at length for why that's happening. Obviously, people of a certain kind of mindset are going to say, oh, because of phones, people don't read books anymore. That's not true. Another kind of sort of more kind of, hard-nosed type of person might say, oh, the reason they don't do book reviews in newspapers anymore is because for whatever reason, the book publishing companies aren't paying for as many ads or paying as much for ads for their books in newspapers because newspapers are no longer a good way of marketing books through advertisements and things like that. So the world of book reviewing has changed a lot. There's a famous site called, again, in the book world, kind of author world, called Goodreads, that Amazon bought for a lot of money a long time ago, where people can kind of leave reviews more in the sense of kind of Amazon reviews, typically, than the kind of, you might think of the big kind of, glasses on the edge of your nose kind of book review that you'd get in a newspaper. But those kind of reviews are important for, if you're on certain kinds of websites. But basically, getting anybody to write about your book is a great thing, and something that if you've gone to the trouble of writing a book and self-publishing it, trying to get other people to write about it is something that you should spend some time doing. One of the sort of LeanPub book marketing rules is spend 15 minutes a day, book 15 minutes a day in your calendar if you live that way, to sort of do something to market your book. And one of those things you can do is reach out to reviewers. Now, as someone who, as part of kind of various projects and startups and things like that, has tried to reach out to, say, journalists and venture capitalists with cold emails. These are people you don't know, who don't know you're going to email them. You're just emailing out of the blue. There is one rule to bind them all when you're cold emailing, and that is, use the person's first name in the salutation at the beginning. Hi, so-and-so. Don't misspell their name. Copy and paste it from somewhere. That's a pro tip. And especially if you're going to be sending a lot of emails, don't be typing out names. Hi, so-and-so, comma, space, like enter. And then the first paragraph should be, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm reaching out to you because I really enjoyed XYZ, something recent that they did. So if they're a journalist, it's, I really enjoyed your recent article on such and such. And so and then you go on to explain why you're reaching out to them, why you think in particular your book will be of interest to them. And you want to think about it from the journalist's perspective. Why would they write? They're getting approached by lots of other people who want them to write about their thing. Why would they write about yours? You should demonstrate that not just for the sake of, getting through the door. You should demonstrate that you know what they're interested in, what they write about, so that they have a good reason. Like if they're pitching to their managing editor, why should, writing about your book, you want to give them all the kind of ammunition they need to do that. And so think about it from that perspective. Imagine this person has to justify using their time and their space to write about your thing. What's actually genuinely useful? What's genuinely interesting? And if you've written a whole book, there will be something. Your problem will actually be having too many things to say. So that doesn't mean that the cold email to the potential reviewer needs to be really short, you don't want to write them a novel. But you want to get to the point right away. You want to make it clear that you know who they are and what they've written about recently and what they're interested in, and make it clear that you understand all the things that I just spoke about from their perspective as a journalist. Now, another thing to talk about when it comes to reaching out to reviewers is don't be shy. Reviewers don't have to be journalists, by the way. They can be influencers in your area. So let's say, someone famous, and if you've written a book on software architecture, reach out to someone famous whose books you admire on software architecture, or whose blog you admire on software architecture. If you've written a book about cybersecurity, reach out to famous bloggers and famous people about cybersecurity with the kind of email or contact that I just described. Give them a free coupon for your book. By the way, that's actually very key. You want to be able to give them a free copy of your book. There's actually a whole platform called NetGalley out there in the traditional publishing world, where it's for giving sort of potential reviewers free copies of books. Don't think of that as a lost sale. If you're thinking that way, you're thinking the wrong way about how to market your book. Giving free review copies to people is a time-old and honored way of getting people interested in your book and writing about it. Another thing is don't feel bad if people don't reply. And by the way, I'm speaking from personal experience here. Like, I used to feel bad if people don't reply. I still do sometimes. But don't feel bad about it. They're busy. They probably did see your email, is actually an important thing to think about too. Maybe they just scanned it. But one important thing is, even if they just scanned it, that person actually might, if they see your name come up in some other context, they might be like, oh yeah, that person emailed me, and go back to it. Or you'll be a kind of like a character in their, mind palace if you reach out to people like that. Another thing to do, actually, this is really important, is to keep a list. I use spreadsheets for this, but keep a list of potential reviewers. Make a spreadsheet, call it potential reviewers. Have first name, last name, have a column for first name, have a column for last name, have a column for like contact email address, and then crucially link to a link to an article that they've written that's relevant to your subject or your genre if you've written a fiction book. Although reaching out to fiction reviewers is very different from what I'm talking about here. I'm mostly talking about reaching out to people to review a nonfiction book. But yeah, get a spreadsheet. Keep track of when you've contacted people, whether they've replied, things like that. It will be worth it. You will not remember everything, but crucially, when you're crafting that email, having like a link to their personal bio, a link to their social media presence, being able to talk, oh, I enjoyed your recent tweet about such and such. You can DM people if you want. Be judicious and professional about it. Follow people online who you want to review your book is actually kind of a very kind of ordinary thing. Keep up with what they're posting about and what they're interested in. They might check to see, or might automatically see on their social media if you follow them. So if they click on you, if you do kind of get them interested in you, and they click on your social media profile and they see that you don't follow them already, they might still keep looking into you, but it would be much better if they noticed that you already follow them. So do that. You should have as part of your news or diet, I guess, the places where you think you might like to get reviewed. Now, with all that said, one of the most important things when you're a LeanPub author is if you are publishing your book in progress using the Lean Publishing philosophy, this means that you publish your book after you've written 1 or 2 chapters. You publish your book for the first time. This is part of the LeanPub language. When you hit publish for the first time, then what you're going to be doing following the Lean Publishing method is publishing new versions of your book when you publish new chapters. And a crucial thing that I've sort of not been very good at getting across to authors is that every time you publish a new version of your book where you've added a chapter, it's like a new book launch. This is actually really important, and that's not a kind of like that's not a thing we're trying to get away with. It really is like a new book launch. You've launched a new version of your book. Most people will not have heard of you or your book. And when you launch with actual new content, it's not a kind of fake launch. It's a real new development. It's something new to tell people about. What's in the new chapter or chapters? What did you address? What's happened since you published your last version of your book? And by the way, if you go to leanpub.com/launch, you can apply to book a free book launch video recording with me we'll review the application, and I have limited time, but I love talking to authors. Go to leanpub.com/launch, and you can book a launch video with me. And here's the thing. I was just joking about it with Peter in our Thursday live stream an hour ago, but I think only one person has ever done 2 launch videos with me for the same book. If you're publishing your book in progress, you should try and do, 5 launch videos with me. You sort of book a time in your calendar, in my calendar. It's a half-hour chunk. You don't have to do anything other than kind of, be presentable. I'll just ask you to talk about yourself and your book. And in the case of a sort of multi-launch video kind of sequence for a book, I'll just ask you what you've done in the latest version. Those conversations take 1 to 10. One conversation actually went on for 45 minutes and turned into 2 full podcasts. But that's the exception. Normally, these things are, just 2 or 3 minutes of you talking about your book, having those videos out there, having them on your book landing page, on LeanPub social media, on our YouTube channel, turned into shorts for YouTube and things like TikTok and things like that. It's all just very useful. And again, if you've gone to the trouble of writing a new chapter or new chapters and publishing a new version of your book, one of the best things you can do to market it is do a new launch video, but you've also got an opportunity to reach out to potential reviewers. Say you reached out to someone 6 months ago when you published the first version of your book, and now you're done. Well, now's an opportunity. Hi, you might remember me from 6 months ago. Things like that. It's really important to keep in mind that one of the crucial advantages of the lean publishing approach to book publishing is that you've got this multiple points along the way before your book is finished when you can be reaching out to people. So I think that's probably enough for today. Please, if you like, learning about these lean publishing and self-publishing tips, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please follow us anywhere you can find us on social media.